Let me tell you about our guest speaker. Jerry Demings has been up in public service his entire life. After graduating from college, he joined the Orlando Police Department, expecting to serve for a few years, but he fell in love with the work and the community he served. He then became Orlando's police chief, where homicides dropped nearly 30%, aggravated assaults fell 10%, and sex offenses declined by almost 6% during his tenure. As Orange County Sheriff, Jerry reduced overall crime by 30% and violent crime by 34% during his tenure. He also managed budgets responsibly, returning more than $10 million to taxpayers. Now, as Orange County Mayor, Jerry Demings is focused on lowering costs and improving the quality of life for working families. He's committed $160 million over the next decade to affordable and workforce housing, safer roads and sidewalks, and prioritized funding for first responders to keep Central Florida secure. Please give a warm welcome to Democratic candidate for Florida Governor, Jerry Demings. You're most welcome.
Good evening, Democrats. Let me do something. I'm going to tell you what I'm proud of first, right? I'm a proud Democrat, first off. And I'm proud to be an American. Now, these days, I have to think about that sometimes because of everything that's been going on. But I'm also a Christian. I believe in God. I believe that we are indeed one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, what am I proud of? I'm a proud graduate of Florida State University, yes? Okay, Gators, it's all right in here tonight. But you know what? I'm proud to be married to Valdez Butler Demings as well, my wife. She was a 2022 Florida Democratic nominee for the United States Senate against Marco Rubio. She has served in the United States House of Representatives representing Florida's Congressional District 10, my home county. She is a proud mother of our 3 children, 2 of which are twins. Yes. And guess what? I have a twin brother. I'm Jerry and he's Terry. The twins are Antoine and Antonio. They were born on February the 14th. I won't tell you the year because that's kind of embarrassing because, but I don't have this white hair for no reason. But we have 3 sons. The youngest son is about 10 years younger than the older boys. And we have 5 grandchildren, 4 girls and 1 boy. I talk about them because when I go to work every day, I go to work to make the world a better place for my grandchildren and their grandchildren, your grandchildren, and your children as well, and all of us. What a privilege it has been now for the last 45 years for me to be a public servant. You had heard just a moment ago a summation of my career. It doesn't tell the full story. We've been through some things, some challenges, some life-saving situations. I'm a crisis manager. Over time, I've been involved in everything from shootings to barricaded gunman situations to terror attacks to even managing a global pandemic, 2020. Not many people can do that. I'm a crisis manager. I'm used to making things better for people. As a mayor, when I go to work every day, I wrestle with the issues that's important to the people in my county, like housing affordability, like dealing with issues with homelessness, dealing with people who are mentally ill, who walk our streets, who need our help. I'm a problem solver. I'm a change agent. I really look forward to taking the service that I've given to my community to the entire state of Florida on your behalf. I'm excited about that. On November the 6th of this year, we started our campaign. I call it the I Believe campaign. Why do I do that? Why do I call it the I Believe campaign? As I have traveled the state now, talking to Democrats all over this state, I ask this question. Democrats, do you believe we can win? Yeah. Do you believe we can win? Yeah. Because I've met some Democrats who looked at me and they said, how are you going to win? The Republicans have $30 million in the bank. They'll raise $100 million. Well, I've been able to overcome some challenges in life. Some extraordinary things have happened as a man of faith because I believe. So with this Believe campaign, I'm not just trying to make certain that I believe, but you have to believe it as well. Democrats, we are stronger together than we are alone. I'm excited about the opportunity to help working class families. I'm excited about the opportunity to make certain that people get better access to health care in this community, in our state of Florida. I'm excited about doing something with our educational system. There's a move afoot to take over our education system. I believe that most of our children and their children will go to public school and graduate, right? But there's an assault on public schools. There's a move to eliminate public schools for charter schools. Now, I believe that charter schools, I believe in school of choice. People ought to be able to choose where they want to send their children. But I also want to make certain that we have a level playing field for our public schools, that we should not take the funds from our public schools and give the funds and create an unequal opportunity between the charter schools and the public schools. Are there any school teachers here? Any school teachers? Thank God for the school teachers. We have a son that is teaching school, and that's kind of extraordinary for a man to be teaching in an elementary school in Orlando. One of our sons is the assistant fire chief for Orange County. The other son, he's a businessman. But all three of them are involved in service. We spent our lifetime in service, trying to make a difference in the lives of people. You have heard a little bit about my career, right? I am serving in my second and final term as Orange County mayor. As the Orange County mayor, I'm very unique in Florida because there are only 3 countywide elected mayors in the state of Florida: Miami-Dade County, in Orlando Orange, and in Jacksonville Duval, just to the north of us. But I'm unique amongst the 3 of us because I'm the only one that sits in 2 places. I am the CEO for Orange County, and I manage Orange County's $8.4 billion budget. But I am also the chair of the Board of County Commissioners. I sit in the legislative seat as well. I have 1 vote, but I am the chair of the board. I set the agenda for our board. The other 2 countywide mayors do not serve on their commissions. Right in Jacksonville, Donna Deegan does not serve on the city commission. Amongst themselves, they elect one of themselves to be the chair of the commission. In Miami-Dade, Daniela Levine-Quava, she does not serve on the county commission for Miami-Dade County. She has a veto vote authority over whatever they do. I don't have the veto vote. I sit and I wrestle with those issues when people come before our board every single day, every single meeting. I'm there. Having been a mayor has allowed me to be close to the people. I'm very active with the Florida Association of Counties. I'm in a leadership role there. I chair the Finance and Taxation Committee. I'm also now chairing a special select committee that will review whatever comes out of the legislature regarding property tax reform. And we'll have our response. We're analyzing the different proposals that are being submitted through the legislature. I'm studying that. My degree is in finance, and I have a master's in business administration as well, with a specialty actually in banking. It has been helpful to me in my career to manage these big budgets, I would say like that has adequately prepared me to manage the $100+ million budget, $1 billion budget of the state of Florida. We're very adept at being able to do that. I will leave office as the mayor December of this year. Prayerfully, we'll be sworn in as the 47th governor of the great state of Florida on November the 3rd. How many of you all are running for office in here? If you're on the ballot November the 3rd, I want to be sworn in so we can govern together, right? That's what I'm talking about. Democrats, I can feel this blue wave coming that is going to shift some things. Change is coming. Now, I'm not running just for my self-advancement. I've had a wonderful career at this point. I've made enough money where I can just retire. But I'm frustrated. Rather than sit on the sidelines in the arena and be a spectator, I've chosen to get into the arena, to perhaps do something that hadn't been done since 1994, and that's elect a Democratic governor of the state of Florida. Yes, I believe. How will we do it? We're going to go to every location throughout the state of Florida where there's breathing human beings. I'm not going into the cemeteries to win. I'm going to all of these DECs around the state. That's why I'm here tonight. I want you to see me. I want you to hear me. I want you to understand me. Because what we're trying to do is create a movement for change, a grassroots movement for change. That is how we will win, Democrats. Now, we're going to put in the sweat equity, but we also need some of those funds that's in your bank accounts to help us as well. What I would tell you is if you really want to support us by assisting us in the movement, but we need your financial support. So I wouldn't be doing what I'm supposed to do. My campaign manager over here, Dylan, will tell you that. You can go to jerryDemingsforgovernor.org if you want to make a contribution, if you want to sign up to help us as we create this movement. I've written a book. I wrote a book this past summer. I started writing the book June the 30th. I finished writing the book July the 31st. The book was published August the 2nd. August the 11th, it became the #1 bestseller on Amazon. Believe, the title of it is Believe. Faith, truth, and the courage to lead. It talks about the extraordinary careers Val and I have had, where we have been able to, as ordinary people, do some pretty extraordinary things. A poor girl from Jacksonville, Florida, child of a maid and a gardener, the son of a maid and a taxi cab driver. She served as the 36th Orlando Chief of Police and the only woman so far to have served in that role. Extraordinary. How about that? I'm the 34th Orlando Chief of Police. First black person to serve in that role. I'm the 28th elected sheriff in Orange County. Only the third black sheriff ever elected in the state of Florida at that time. One of only two to serve when I was sheriff. 3 terms I was sheriff. Got to do a lot of great work, saving some lives during my law enforcement career of nearly 38 years. Got to see some things up close and personal that some of you would never, ever want to see. But I learned from that. It set me up perfectly to be elected as the 5th mayor in Orange County. Only 5 people have served in the role that I'm serving in when our county is over 200 years old. But only 5 have worn the title of mayor of Orange County. What a blessing it has been for us to be able to touch lives every day, to save some lives. I look forward to making Florida the safest state in the union. Yes. I look forward to reforming our system of health care. The cost of our health care is too high. There's a system of doing that. We have actually done it in Orange County. We have what is called a primary care access network for those who don't have any health insurance or they are underinsured within our county. We have made it available to the people in our county. You heard them say, in terms of housing affordability, we created our own housing trust fund in Orange County when we put $160 million into that fund. We said that over 10 years, we were going to move the needle and build over 10,000 new housing units that are affordable. We're doing that through a public-private partnership. We are working with organizations like Habitat, where we're taking our surplus lands and putting it into the mix so that Habitat can build houses and provide them to working class families. We're doing that in our community where we're building multi-housing, where we're partnering with the private sector. We're partnering with the philanthropic sector to build multi-family housing units for senior citizens and for low and very low income families. We're working with Universal Resorts of Orlando in Florida, where we have a 1,000 unit project that we will do the ribbon cutting on in about 2 months. Mixed use, where 60% of the units in there are for those at the average medium income or below here in the state of Florida. We're making housing available, and we're building those units in our Center of Commerce where the jobs are located, so people don't have to travel long distances to get to work. They don't have to own an automobile in order to work in that area. We're partnering with Walt Disney, and we're building a 2,500 unit multifamily complex in partnership with them. What we're trying to do is take this to the state level. The state of Florida has a housing trust fund, but for decades, the state has swept billions of dollars, not millions, but billions of dollars from that trust fund to go to purposes other than what they were intended for. The state of Florida created the trust fund. On every real estate transaction, there's a fee that is charged that goes into the trust fund. And it was set up, codified by the Florida Constitution when we, the electorate, voted for it back in the 90s, to take those funds and to help to stimulate the building of affordable and workforce housing throughout the state of Florida. But instead of using the funds for that, the state used the funds for general services. Now, last year, Governor DeSantis and the legislature, for the first time in decades, used the majority of the funds for that. After we called them out on it. We had to call them out on it. But what happened was, too many people found themselves in a situation where housing was not affordable for them. And they became homeless, senior citizens who could no longer survive on just Social Security alone. And some of them didn't even have Social Security. They had never applied for it. We found during COVID, a lot of people were struggling. When I would see people walking on the streets of my county, and perhaps you saw them in your county sometimes, and they're homeless. They have everything that they own in a grocery basket. And you can look at them, and you can see sometimes that they were mentally ill. You didn't have to have a degree in psychology to recognize mental illness when you see it. Sometimes they had other issues. They had co-occurring issues. They were drug addicts, and they needed treatment. They were alcoholics, or they had other behavioral health issues. In the state of Florida, we rank second to last in the nation in what we spend per capita on treatment for the mentally ill. If I'm elected governor, I'm going to change that. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm going to change that. Because I figured out as a lawman, many people commit crimes because of their mental illness, because of their substance abuse, their addiction. And if you can treat them, you can get them to become self-reliant, get them back on their meds. And when they're able to do that, they can take care of their families better than when they're addicted. How do I know? I had a brother. I did say I had a brother who was addicted to heroin. Spent most of his life addicted to some substance. He died a relatively young man, 50 years old. Spent the better part of his adult life incarcerated. At one point, I arrested him to get him out of the circumstances that he was in, to stop the cycle. Yes. I know what I'm talking about. I have a nephew right now in the Florida State Hospital, an Army veteran who's mentally ill. Anybody in here have a family member, you know somebody that's mentally ill that need help? Okay. Sometimes when we get them back on their meds through treatment, it's been smart on crime. When 2 decades ago in Orange County, I was part of a leadership group that said that we could not arrest our way out of a crime problem. We had to think our way out of it. And what we did, we made it a priority for treatment for those who suffer with these issues that I'm talking about. At that time, Orange County had a resident population of about 900,000. Today, we're just under 1.6 million. In 2008, when I first got elected sheriff, we were booking 61,000 people through our jail on an annual basis. The cap that we reached of people in our jail at that time, in the fall of 2008, we had on one day 4,900 people in our jail. Today, that number has been hovering most of these last 12 months at 2,900. at a time when our population grew by 700,000 people. How did we do it? We led with treatment. There's a four-pronged approach that I use. Prevention, intervention. Sometimes people are gonna mess up. You gotta provide them with services, wraparound services. And then sometimes when they mess up, you gotta arrest them, enforcement. You have to prosecute them, those four prongs. But if you do it right, by spending money on the front end, you save taxpayers on the back end. You save lives because those people who are so messed up, they're not out killing and robbing because of their addiction, because of their mental illness. It has worked. You heard them share some statistics about when I have been the chief of police or the sheriff and crime went down. Now that I'm the mayor, I get to look broadly. We fund the sheriff's office. We run the jail. We have services on the front end. For the state of Florida, I promise you, if I become governor, we won't be last in what we spend per capita on treatment services because it'll be working and using your money better. All right. Because I want you to be able to ask me some questions, I'm gonna go to the questions and then I'll close. All right. All right, let's see who's got questions.
There are two people that are coming around. Raise your hand if you have a question. And then we'll collect them and bring them to Dylan, Jerry's campaign manager.
All right. You can't read the writing, it looks like. You got a question? Come on over here. You got a question? He's got a question. The future president of the United States, future governor, future sheriff. All right, tell me your question.
So, my question is,
It looked like it's a long question here.
so actually my mom wrote this question.
Okay.
So, she said, as a mother of a medically complex child in public school systems, what is your position on funding full-time nurses in every public school?
I'm all for it, Mom. Why am I all for it? Remember I talked about that treatment. It carries through right into our school districts. Sometimes we see children who don't thrive in school because they don't have access to appropriate medication or health care. When we are able to get access for them, they begin to thrive. And so, yes, I'm supportive of that, okay? Thank you.
Reproductive rights, this is reproductive rights, and escalating property taxes.
Okay,
There,
all right.
those are only two. People submitted the same thing.
What is your position on women's reproductive rights? Okay.
Can I answer that? No.
Ma'am, listen, that's a serious matter. Let me say this. I believe that a woman ought to have the right to choose what happens with her body. The only qualifier I have that I will put in here is that up to the point of viability. If this child is fully formed, okay, I think at that point, and what I mean by that, where that child can thrive. unless it's some kind of health care issue that the doctor makes the call and not the courtroom, I believe that we should walk right up to that point. Okay, that's where I am with it. All right. How do you get through to the MAGA supporters? Can I borrow that cane or stick you got right there? Just, we have to hit them over the head with the truth, with the facts. Not with the cane, but with the facts. Sometimes I've been in these situations because of the career I've had where I've had to convince people to look at things differently than perhaps they ever have. Respecting who they are, understanding who they are, and we have to work on them. No matter how I will get elected as the 47th governor, I'll be the governor for all of those people, and I don't ever forget that. As a law enforcement officer, I've never ever asked anybody that I was trying to serve. As a mayor, I've never asked somebody who I've been trying to serve, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? At the end of the day, what is important to me is that they're a human being. They deserve our service. And I'm just optimistic. I said to you in the beginning, I'm a Christian. And I believe in those Christian principles. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I believe in the power of God. I believe in the power of faith, that you can change people. Being on the tip of the spear of change is a perilous position to be in. But Democrats, we are on the tip of the spear because we are trying to change the world for the better around us. Am I right about it, Democrats? So those who may be MAGA, I think there's hope for them too. I said in the beginning, we are indeed one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I've had to attend rallies by people who had ideologies that I did not agree with, but it was their right. It was their First Amendment right to say whatever they needed to say, as long as they did so peacefully. They don't have a right to express their First Amendment rights in a violent way. You cross the line at that point. And I put on my law enforcement hat. But I've had to have some thick skin at times and called all kinds of names. But that was part of the job. Some of this stuff we're seeing now with these immigration and customs enforcement officers is disturbing to me. Because I can tell you this as a law enforcement officer, trained law enforcement officer. You can do the job, you can hold people accountable without abusing them. There's no place in a civilized society to treat people inhumanely. And some of what I'm seeing is disturbing. If I'm elected governor, we have taken our state law enforcement officers, many of our local sheriffs are participating. Immigration and customs enforcement is primarily a federal responsibility. But because the federal government didn't have enough people to do immigration and customs enforcement, they have elicited the support from these different local law enforcement agencies. And right now in the state of Florida, the Florida Highway Patrol, if you're on a state road, you're outside a municipality in an unincorporated area, and you call the Highway Patrol, to respond to that accident, you're gonna wait a long time if they come at all, because they've been redeployed doing other things. Even with the state workers, the state of Florida ranks near the bottom for what it pays state workers. Any of y'all state workers in here? We're gonna make sure that those state workers get paid an affordable, livable wage. We're gonna increase the pay for those state workers. Do you have a plan for the environment, clean water, and better land management? Wow. Yes, we have a sustainability and resiliency plan in Orange County and I appointed our very first Chief Sustainability and Resiliency Officer in Orange County. We're leaning into alternative energy. We have one of the largest floating solar arrays in the Southeast United States. We have rewritten our comprehensive plans, and unfortunately, because of the influence of developers and big money on the state of Florida, the state is preempting local governments left and right, taking away our authority to manage the land use issues at the local level and preempting it to the state of Florida. When I can tell you that we're closest to the people. We get held accountable by the people. We're seeing because of the tremendous growth in the state of Florida in 2024, the last year that we have whole numbers for, grew by 364,000 people. That's almost a net of 1,000 people moving into the state of Florida every single day. In my county, we grew by a net of about 1,000 new people moving in every week. Growth management is a big deal for us because as we manage God's green earth, the environmental issues are very significant. We have committed in Orange County to spend $100 million of our ad valorem taxes on purchasing preservation land, where we're preserving God's green earth. We need to do a better job of that at the state level as well. All right, there were some other questions over here. This is the last one.
That's all we have time for. Treasure.
All right. The last question is, how much do you pay your wife to travel with?
I'll answer that one too.
Actually, no, it's not the last. That's not the question. It says LGBTQ plus support and trans youth support. I believe that people who may be from the LGBTQ plus community should have the same rights as the rest of us. So, I say the same rights, not more, not less. The right to choose who they married, whether they marry, etc. So, fortunately for me, I have a great relationship. One of the things that we do in my office, I have a liaison that's assigned to the LGBTQ plus community. The first mayor to assign someone to that community so that they will have a voice in my office. I have one assigned to the Spanish-speaking community. I have one assigned to the Asian community. I have one assigned to the Black Afro-Caribbean community. We have one assigned to do veterans. By the way, any veterans in here tonight? All you veterans, thank you all for your service. Thank you. We work diligently with our Veteran Services Office to make sure our veterans get access to the benefits that they deserve. We're proactive with that, and we created the Mayor's Veterans Advisory Council in Orange County, and they're doing great work. We have the busiest VA hospital in the country in our county at Lake Nona. How many of you knew that? The busiest one in the country. We honor the men and women who have served. Thank you all, St. Johns County, for having me here tonight. I look forward to seeing you all out there. May God continue to bless St. Johns County. May God continue to bless the great state of Florida. May God continue to bless the United States of America.